And we're
Wel-
back.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 18 of Thoughtify. We are
Everybody.
post Christmas break. We are post New Year. Can you
Happy
believe
New
it's
Year.
2025? Happy New Year, Thoughtify audience.
Right?
I'm pretty sure your New Year was just that much better now because we said Happy New Year. So you're welcome. And
Yeah. And if that didn't make it better, then here's another one. Happy New Year. So if that didn't make it better, there's not much we're gonna be able to do from the podcast. But still
I'm going
want
to
you guys to
compete
know.
and now I'm going to say Happy New Year because I want the last word.
Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'm gonna sneak it in randomly in the episode. So I can trust me, I'm gonna get the last word on this. But Happy New Year. I hope everyone had a
Wow.
great New Year. I hope Christmas was good. I hope Thanksgiving was good. Did we talk about Thanksgiving? Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did. We did.
Yeah.
It hasn't been
But
that long since we've done an episode.
no, it hasn't been very long at all, but I just, we talk about a lot of things on these episodes. So I'm always wondering whether or not when I bring something up, I'm like, is this like the seventh time I'm doing this? But that's just part of the entertainment. So it's
Yep.
just going to have to be something that if I do it, just consider it a gift.
That's Keegan's gift to you guys.
Not remembering what I talk about.
I'll post a poll because I love posting polls. Be like, are you appreciative of Keegan's gift?
Don't say
Yes or
that too loud in a bar.
no? That's a good one.
Oh
Good.
man, but how's your week been so far? This has been a how'd you say? A slow week because of the New Year's holiday and Christmas was right before, but
Yep.
I feel
It's
like no
almost
one
like
gets
it.
anything done.
It's like it happens like that every year. Christmas happens before New Year.
Not every year. Sometimes our world will drift into an alternate dimension
Mm,
because when they found the quote unquote God particle, they
mm,
added too much natural mass to one and it pulled from one parallel universe to another. And that's where the Mandela effect comes from in terms of
mm.
if people remember something a certain way, like the Bernstein Bears or the Berenstein Bears,
Yep.
or
Mirror, mirror on the
let's see,
wall.
mirror, mirror on the wall, Luke, I am your father. All those things are just because we're drifting in between parallel dimensions. And it's just the fact that everything is a tiny, tiny bit different, but there's infinite dimensions. So, on a certain scale, once it gets far enough, it will look much different in terms of all of the possibilities of every outcome of everything that could ever happen would happen in some point in those parallel dimensions. So we just happen to be drifting in between a couple of them, and that is why I don't remember everything I say.
And that is the ultimate reason as to why we have a leap year.
And that's where that comes from. That's
That's where
actually
the extra
science.
day every year, every 4 years comes from.
Man, I hate to dive back into it, but I was riding in my car doing work. I was
You ride
driving
in your
from
car, you don't drive.
that's a good call out. I was driving the car, but I was also riding in it, so it
My
was a
Tesla
dual.
robot, Optimus Prime, was driving me around today.
I really don't like Teslas, but I would love to be driven home from the bar by my car.
That would
That
be
would be
pretty
just
cool.
like just to get pulled over and just be like, I'm literally not doing anything.
That's going to completely eliminate drinking while driving and
Yeah,
speeding.
I don't know why we don't
Speeding's
do it
not going to
quicker.
be a thing anymore. Drinking and driving's not going to be a thing anymore. So how are cities going to make their money jurisdiction wise?
The only problem is going to be that people are not going to want to opt into being able to have their car involuntarily shut down. In terms of when you get pulled over by a police officer, it's going to be no longer you pulling over. It's going to be you getting a notification on your car and your car doing an immediate shutdown and pull over, and you don't have any
Yeah.
control over that. So while I think it's an amazing thing and I think it's a cool thing, I think it's the right direction. It's just it's everything comes with a certain amount of how would you say effery or just
Mm.
tomfoolishness.
Tomfoolery.
And yeah, tomfoolishness is actually what I was going for, but thank
I
you.
can
I
tell.
know I was going for tomfoolery. But everything comes with a little bit. So don't expect cars driving themselves to be fully satisfying in all the ways that we think. Just like everything that comes out, there's going to be some detriments that we're like, man,
Yep.
those drivable cars were pretty cool.
Yeah. There'll be a novelty at that point.
Yeah, and just think of that. Think of like the integration of people driving normal vehicles with self-driving vehicles. Eventually, like, so let's say you were getting, and listen, this is all predicating on the fact that you wouldn't stop for the police, but I would say just do it anyways. Don't run from the police. But the choice is, it matters to have the choice. But just think of like when there's more self-driving cars than there are normal driving cars. Like, let's say you're getting pulled over and they can send out a program that utilizes the other cars on the road to make sure that you stop, to not give you an option to speed away.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Well, I mean,
That would
it's
be
probably far off. We're not going to
that'd be
see
an
that, like,
overreach. That'd be an extreme overreach. Like,
but
are you
it will
talking
be.
just general people riding in their autonomous cars? You're telling me cops would have the ability to be like, I'm going to jump into that car, override it, and say, use that as traffic control to slow that car down.
If there's a certain threshold met, then 100%. I
Oh,
mean, when you
ah,
when you give away control like that, there's going to be strategies that are aimed at preventing a situation from getting to a certain point, and they're going to minimize the thresholds that have to be crossed for that. So,
mm,
when all cars, or when there's more self-driving cars than there are normal driving cars, I guarantee you there's going to be some type of police interface that would make it really hard for someone in a self-driving car to not only get away, but navigate the highway as they're trying to do it.
I feel like that'd be a massive overreach,
But
in my
oh
opinion.
my God, well, do you not remember this big pandemic that came out and they forced
Well,
everyone
all the
to,
more reason we went through something like that. To me, something like that will not happen again.
that's just,
I'm not going to say never. I'm not going to say never say never because knock on
it's
wood.
not a
But at the
factor of
same time,
whether or not,
you're eking down into people's independent lives. Like if I'm going to work, I have to be at a meeting by 10:30 in the morning and a cop's like, "Sorry, I'm going to hijack your car just temporarily and slow you down just to stop this guy who doesn't have an autonomous car. Sorry, but not sorry." To me, that
100%.
there's no way. There's no way.
Oh, I mean,
Absolutely
I'm
no
not
chance.
saying that that would happen just for someone pulling over, but if there's
No,
someone
I'm
that is
saying
proven, if there's someone
uh,
that is like running away from the police, don't think that they're not going to be able to take advantage of every car on the road and utilize that
eh,
to,
I
I
don't
mean,
think
it's,
Elon would go for that.
I mean, listen, once you give away
He's not,
control, there's
but
certain types of situations that are just going to be a non-ask. And I'm saying that's far off. That is a that all the way down the road of like when it's the last bit of self-driving cars. If you don't think that other cars will be able to help utilize or not utilize, help make sure bad things don't happen in extreme situations, very extreme situations, you know, I disagree.
but think of the risk and the amount of safety precaution. Like you're throwing safety out the door. If there's a dude barreling down the highway and you're like, let's use these other cars
But the
as
point
more of
is
a traffic
he would
control,
not get to barrel down the highway. That's the point, is it
unless he
wouldn't
decides
allow
to
it to.
plow through other cars, though. When cops
But
are utilizing those cars to be literally bait to slow the other vehicle
yeah,
down.
so just like when a ambulance is driving down the road, other cars all shift to the side. There's going to be certain things where when police are in a high pursuit, it's going to make other cars slow down so they can get through those cars, but it's not going to be an option of that person, and it is going to hinder that driver from being able to navigate the road as much. I'm not saying it's going to be intentionally used to crash the car into another car, but as police will be coming by, I guarantee you your car is going to go, "Oh, police sirens, slow down, get to the right." All the cars are going to do it in unison.
Yeah, you're
And
saying get out of the way. Don't just slow down in the middle of the highway.
but if there's a high speed chase and there's a bunch of cars stacked up, I do think that, I mean, it's the I, I I think that, well, I guess my main point is, maybe I'm wrong. My main point is when they can control your car, there's no limit to what control looks like. So don't think that there's any situation that's too far off from happening, because yes, there's going to be the rights of people and the contracts and the, what the business is, the better business of, what they have to do, or, adhering to certain principles and standards. But that's mostly for Now that's mostly a facade of we're going to do what's right to the naked eye, but behind the scenes we're going to do whatever we need to do to stay competitive, stay on top of the pack. So it's if you don't think that when you give away a massive control of something like that, that it's going to be overutilized, just like when, they shut down every single business that, wasn't considered an essential business and people went out of business, lost their livelihoods. That is a great example. And it's not the factor of like, oh, we're not going to let them do it. It's going to be once you have only a self-driving car, there's no, you don't have a say in it. There's not going to be a
Unless it,
drivable option on the car.
unless it goes completely against what Elon so far has
Yeah,
projected
Elon won't
himself
be
to
the only
move.
company to ever do it.
No, I know, but I'm saying at least Tesla wise, which arguably will be the leading car manufacturer of autonomy, pure autonomy. You're talking about all these other manufacturers. Ford, GM is kind of an umbrella corp for a lot of different car companies, but they're going to be playing catch up. Elon's going to be leading the way when it comes to all this stuff. And if
Not to the
he
point
has,
where cars are going to be
well, if he
more
has, if he's developing
self-driving.
the
When the
standard,
cars that are
well,
normally marketed are self-driving cars, and there is a limited amount of marketing, a very small amount of marketing towards drivable cars anymore, and they're much more of the minority, is what I'm talking about.
but at the
Not
same
just,
time,
and
yeah,
then
when
by
they're
that time, what I'm saying is every company will have a standard non-drivable car because that will be the standard on the road. And it will slowly be integrating out cars that cannot
correct.
be on the road.
But at the
So,
same time, with Elon leading the way, literally open sourcing his entire driving autonomy, correct, to all these other companies. If Elon's been leading the way, if he goes by what he's been projecting this entire time, especially over the last couple of years of independent freedom, of
yeah,
privacy,
but
of all
Elon will
this
die
stuff,
one day.
then, well, I'm saying as it's projecting towards that point, he will not do anything like that.
Yeah, he's one stick in the mud towards a wave that will naturally be there no matter what.
And of course, there's always going to be dum dums that rise up and try to interfere with your
That's yeah,
freedom. But
it,
at the same time,
that,
like what we went through in hold on, like what we went through in COVID. How many individuals, especially looking back 4 years in today's time, would literally revolt if the government ever remotely tried to interfere with your personal life again?
but
They wouldn't be able to do that again
you're
without
side
literally
skirting a
starting an
major point
entire
that I've already made. You're side skirting the
without
point.
starting an entire civil war.
You're side skirting the point that
Not at
once
all.
car standard driving standard cars on the road that the car that anyone buys for their family or for themselves is a self-driving car, it will not be a conversation. It will be something that is standard in vehicles sold to you as a safety factor, and it will be something that you don't have the ability to have an opinion on because it's going to be the standard across the board.
It's
Yeah,
not that the
in
cop would reach in to take over your car. That would not be the case at all. Zero chance.
If you
No
don't think
possible way.
self-driving cars are going to respond to cops on the road and automatically pull
That's see,
over,
that's the difference right there. They're going to respond to occurrences on the road. Police will not be able to utilize certain cars on the road to be able to dictate traffic flow. That's the overreach.
do you realize that when there's only self-driving cars that is dictating traffic flow and it's just a natural, hey, I have to interface with the dictating
But
traffic
it's
flow
the
that everyone is
independent product. It's
communicating
not
with?
the actual cop that's overreaching to get in your vehicle and say, I'm going to control this now. That's not the case.
No, they will just be a program that does it. It won't be the
Correct.
cop picking the car, but the cop will be able to pull the car over and pretty much override the car, and it won't be your self-driving car anymore
What do
because
you mean
you've
the
given that
police
up.
will be able to override the car?
That means you're getting pulled over. You don't have the option of whether or not to pull over. You could be doing whatever you want in the car, and the car's going to respond to the police, and it's going to say, I'm getting pulled
Not that the
over.
cop is literally saying, I'm taking that car over. It's stopping because I'm sending a signal to be able to do that. The car's doing it based upon programming.
That's the
Yes.
same thing.
Mm.
Yeah, it is. Well, how is it? How does it not get a signal? Like, what do you mean? What do
I
you
mean,
even
when you
mean?
say a cop's going to reach out and make that car pull over,
Yeah,
that's like he's doing something. He's sending like a little EMP of sorts towards that
it's
car
not
in
an
front of
EMP.
him,
It's just
signaling.
programming.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like that's the big distinction, is my point. The car, yes, has programming. It's machine learning right now. A Elon, with all of his development, with where he's at with the autonomous driving of like I think they're at 3.0 or something like that. they threw out manual coding and it's all machine learning with AI right now. So it's taking in billions and billions and billions of road instances to learn. But the cop isn't going to be the one being like, yep, I'm overriding that car based upon something that I'm doing. He's just going to flick on his lights and the car's going to see it based on the rear view camera.
I mean,
Sure.
that's literally
But
just what you said. I'm overriding the car based on something I'm doing, and then you said he's going to flick on the lights and the car's going to pull over. So he
but
did
it's not
something.
him taking control of the car, which is what I
Yeah,
thought
he's
you were
not going to
saying.
be able to press the gas pedal and make you go like straight into another car.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
That
what
would be
you are
taking
saying
control of the
is
car.
the car is making the decision. It's not the cop
There's
responding
no
to a situation that the
there's no
cop is
car
forcing
making the
it to happen.
decision. It's just
Yes, it
it's
is.
not alive.
That's machine learning. The
Yeah, but
car's
that
making the
doesn't mean the
decision.
car has the ability to make decisions. That means that the car
It
is
100%
programmed to respond to things and make decisions based off that, not independent decisions based on what it thinks.
correct.
Yeah, so just like any other car on the road, it will have to interface with those to be able to say, hey, we're all one unit on the road. We need to be able to, like, I need to know how fast not only the car in front of me is going, but to drive optimally, I need to know how fast the next five cars in front of me are going.
Which is
So
making
it's going
decisions
that, so it's
live time.
going, yeah, but based on responses. It's not, it doesn't have independence. It's
I'm
just
not saying it
AI.
does.
No, it doesn't have independence.
That's
But you,
correct. That's what I'm saying.
okay, so it will have to interface, and the way it will work is a cop will be able to select a car, and there will have to be certain thresholds met because obviously there will be a conversation around, hey, we shouldn't just be able to select any car and pull it over for no reason. There will have to be a threshold met. But once the threshold is met, the cop will be able to select the car. It will flick on its lights, and that will send a signal to that car and say, hey, we're all interfacing on this Ethernet, not on this Ethernet, on this essential Wi-Fi on the road. You're receiving a signal that you're getting pulled over. You no longer have control of the car in any way, shape, or form. So they have full control in terms of pulling you over. You don't have the ability to go X, nope, I'm not, or the car doesn't have the ability to disengage with the police officer and not pull over. So 100% the cop will be able to take over control of your car, just not in the
That's
sense.
what I'm saying. That to me, I think that's
If
an
you think
extreme
that
over.
if you think that self-driving cars are not going to result in a lack of control of the car, then I don't understand
No,
how you could even
that's not
expect
what I'm saying.
self-driving
I'm
cars.
saying
Huh?
it based upon situations. If a cop pulls up behind you, he turns his lights on, right? The natural instinct is it's probably me, I'm going to pull over. The car, without having an actual driver, will have the rear view camera like it has on across the entire car with all the sensors to intake everything that is currently going on the road to be able to make choices based upon its input at that time to then dictate, okay, is this something that I pull over? To me, the cop's not going to have the ability to sit there and take control of your car.
I
No
mean,
way.
I mean,
Not at all.
I, you can say that, but I mean, if there's anything that history has proven is that incremental freedoms are constantly chipped away at, and they're chipped away at for efficiency, for conveniency, for, just making life more safe for safety. And in those things, you give up certain freedoms, and those freedoms are sold, those that they're sold, they're the ability to give them up is sold to you under the guise that it's more convenient, it's safer, it's more efficient, whatever you want to say. But it's going to come with a lack of control of the vehicle. The vehicle's not just going to see a cop and see lights on and say, oh, I see lights on, I'm going to pull over. The vehicle is going to have programming that says, I'm getting pulled over. I am going to be overridden
And it
because
will
that
be the car that does it, not the actual cop
no, it'll
overriding
be
the car itself.
programming from the police officer's car that overrides the system in your car. And there's no reason that it wouldn't, because that would be that would be the only way to interface anyways.
Not
And you don't have a
necessarily.
gas pedal at this point. You're not driving, you're just sitting. So, yes, when the cop pulls you over, it's going to be an interface between the two cars. The cop will have a special interface that's meant for police officers, and it's going to take control of the other car and make sure it pulls over and pulls over safely, and that's how it's going to be sold to you. Is that it's going to be pulled over safely, it's going to be more efficient, you're going to be the right distance away from the police officer, you won't have to worry about jamming up traffic. It's going to be naturally better for you, but you're not going to have the option of whether or not you stop, nor is the car going to have the option of whether or not you stop. Even if it was the car
Because it's
making
going to
the
be
choice,
built in. The cop's not going to have to override the vehicle in the first place
yes,
because
it
it's
will,
completely
100%.
autonomous as is. No way.
Yeah.
That'd be like me stepping in and being like, okay, the Tesla right now or in the future, because it's already doing it, I'm pulling up to a stop sign. It's not gonna stop by itself. So I need to manually override to do something for this thing when it's already programmed to do it in the first place.
Wait,
That
I don't
doesn't
get
make
what you
sense.
just said.
Certain actions on the road because full self-driving exists right now in Tesla, right?
I mean, to an extent.
No,
It does,
it's phenomenal right now.
yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't
Like to the
say that.
point of very small incremental movements in instances on the highway, it performs very, very, very,
Yeah,
very good.
I'm not saying that it's
So
not
that's
really
like
good right
stepping in on
now.
a
I'm
fully
saying that
autonomous.
it's definitely not where it needs to be for every car to be self-driving, and it has a lot of improvement to go. So
But
it's
for Tesla's 100%. Absolutely.
I disagree.
I mean, go talk to someone who's actually using it.
My dad has a Tesla.
My CFO does too. Talk with him
Yes, I mean,
every
yeah,
day.
they can definitely, you
But you
know,
have to pay for the newest version that's out there. He's paying for the newest version, and the newest version is phenomenal. So
I'm
that would
not
be
saying it's
like,
bad.
but that would be like your general autonomy, right? You're at a stoplight. All of a sudden, it goes yellow, and then it's turning red. It's like, why doesn't the car respond? There's no sort of manual input that you would have to do to make the car stop at a red light, even right now, because of the built-in interface and coding that it has learned based upon AI to get to the point it is. Once you get to that point and beyond, you're not going to have police officers tap into your car specifically because it's going to have all kinds of instances it already learned from to make the decision to pull over based upon the rear
So, I mean,
camera
regardless
having
of
a
whether
cop in it.
that's the case or not, that doesn't change my point. Is the fact
It
is you
does
still
though.
don't have an
The
option.
nuance in a sense of a cop being able to tap into your car is very different from already buying into the fact that it's an
That's definitely
autonomously
going to
driving
happen
car.
for down the road from this because this is the
But why
first
would you need
instance
that?
of it.
That would be a complete overreach that's not even needed in the first place. If it's already fully autonomous,
Because
why would you need to give?
anyone could get smart enough to override the, programs in a car, the AI or something like that, and then program it to not do what it's, if it's self-driving and needs to pull over. So there's going to be
That would be more of a
there's going to
reach, in
be
my opinion.
stops put in place to make sure people can't do that, and there's compliance that is, you know, guaranteed, and that compliance is going to be um, forced from most likely the other vehicle that it's interacting with. Regardless whether the car makes a choice or not, there's not going to be the option for you to stop. And that is my main point, is that when you take away the option, the freedom to say, I disagree with what's going on here, I'm either going to go to a safer spot or I'm going to, if you feel so inclined, you're going to run from the police. I don't suggest it. Please don't do it. But
Which you can't
the
do in an
freedom of,
autonomous car as is.
huh?
Which you won't be able to do in an autonomous car as is because of its programming, not
That's what I'm
because the car's
saying
pulling
is
you over. So why would the cop need to be able to have that sort of power? If it's
because
redundant
it's
at
going
that
to be a
point.
natural progression of technology and the inching away at taking away freedoms. Like it's just a natural thing. It's like it's this flies in the face of like everything that is actually happening and the freedoms that have been taken away over time. And it's just like if you don't think that that's a cascading effect, just like the succession of technology, it's the same process. It's we're eventually going to trade most of our freedoms for convenience, for safety, or that's what's going to be told to us. And those choices that we have are going to be taken away. I mean, we may not see it in our lifetime, but I guarantee you we're going to see it very close. Just like the credit score thing, where, like in China, and they've talked about trying to implement it here. How good is your social credit score to be able to get into a school or go into a certain store or go or to whatever it might be to apply for a certain loan? It's going to it's unfortunately, I'd say that is the double-edged sword of technology, is that the better technology gets, the less input is needed from a human, therefore you become less independent naturally. People used to have to, make grow their own food, slaughter their own animals. There was no other way to get by. People were tough, and they produced some really great people that got us to where we're at today. But as fast as technology is getting, just like when we were kids, even though it wasn't that long ago, we had to write our papers legitimately. I mean, you could cheat, but there was very obvious, there was engines that could search for cheating and whatnot. Nowadays, you don't have to be as, and I'm not saying we're scholars, but you don't have to be as smart as we were to get out of school because you have AI right next to you that can do all of it for you and make it seem as if it's not going, make it seem as if you were the one who did it. So I just think it's a natural process, and self-driving cars will be one of the biggest freedoms that I mean, look at the movie. I mean, there's a perfect example of this, Minority Report, the movie with
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Yeah. I mean, that's a factor in this movie. All the cars are self-driving and they don't have the option of when they stop, the cops initiate the pullover and it makes the other car pull over. I mean, it's not me that's just coming up with this, but when you give up
No, I know it's not. I'm just saying I think it's more of a reach.
I don't think it's a reach. I think it's an inevitability no matter how long it takes. The other way, I love you.
This is our typical
This was the first time on
disagreement.
our podcast that you guys heard us get into one of our little squabbles. Because this happens all the time. And as good of friends as we are, we have some small disagreements that we will just refuse to give up on. And I think you guys probably enjoyed it.
You better have.
Better have.
Or else we're quitting.
Uh-oh. I'm not gonna read it right now.
Uh-oh.
That was it. That was it.
Oh. Part of me just wants you to read like the
Should I
first
read it?
two line. No, just oh.
Um,
Dun, dun, dun.
kind of.
Nice.
Started with I agree. I think we're in different places. Oh my gosh, man. It's like great.
Podcast
That's
ruined.
well, no, that's so nice to hear after I wasn't the one who re-engaged this situation. For anyone listening, there was a how's the best way for me to present this? There was a situation with a girl that came into my life that was a very I'm not going to out them on this podcast and say how it happened, but it was very unique and it was at church, we'll just say that. And because of that uniqueness, I decided to take this girl on a date. She said, "Hey, I'm in a bad place right now, whatever." Honestly, it was just come to find out it was an excuse just to stay in a certain situation and not have to entertain another one, which was fine. I wouldn't want anyone to try to do two things at once. But a year later, this person comes back into my life, reaches out to me, re-engages with me, and then I start taking them on a couple dates, and it's just like me chasing this person around, barely ever hear from them, and really just it just became, I'm 31 years old. I just don't have time to chase people. If you don't want to be in a situation, best thing you can do is tell me, and it won't hurt my feelings,
I
maybe
don't
a
want to
little
be in
bit.
a situation.
Well,
I
you're
want to
not
quit
getting
the
out of this
podcast.
one. This is non-optional.
Well, that's too dang bad.
So, long story short, I pretty much reached out to her today. I was like, "Hey, I don't think you want to be here. It's no big deal. This is if I didn't say if, I just said I don't hear from you. It's hard to make plans with you. You never follow up, so I don't have time to chase you around. I wish you the best. Give me my sweatshirt back." And she reached out after like 7 hours later and just started with, "Yeah, no, I think we're just in a different places right now." And it's like, didn't you know that before you reached out? Like, what? I just, why waste my time again? Like, why make me chase you down, lead me on, be like, yeah, I want to hang out again. Let's do it. Come on. Yeah, this was fun. And it's just like, I don't, I'm not a, I don't, I don't know what I do wrong. I show up. I'm intentional. I really try to put some thought into it. If someone's not feeling it, I try to give them every out and be like, "Hey, if this isn't for you, just, all you gotta do is say something to me." But like being led on is got to be one of the most annoying things in the world. Someone not having the guts to say what's on their mind and just taking your time. And I will say money too. I spent like $300 on these dang dates, but that's just par for the course. It's fine. I'm not gonna change the way that I interact with people just because there's a chance it won't work out. But you know, just one of those things where why waste someone's time? But anyways, life goes on. I'm a big boy. It'll be cool.
Who's that
And
big boy?
back to the drawing board.
Yes, sir. Pretty much. But yeah, after that little side conversation about Tesla, how was your Christmas? Was it a productive one, enjoyable? I know you went down to Comfort or South Texas and had some fun down there.
Yeah, it was good, man. We were able to spend some time with, I went there by myself.
Bristol.
I,
We.
yeah,
We.
actually, no, it was Bristol. So me and Bristol, my baby girl, we went down there. Bristol's my dog. And it was a good time. Spent time with my mom, my stepfather, my youngest sister, Sophie, and then also my mom's Italian daughter, Martina.
Not actually her daughter,
Yes, my
but
mom did not have an affair with an Italian person and have an Italian daughter. But she did go to Italy to visit my youngest sister, Sophie, while she was studying abroad. And when she did, they did a cooking class, and she met Martina, who is like this 28-year-old spice of life girl. Like she's like out of a movie. Her family lives in a farm in Sorrento, and there's a three-story house, and her whole family lives in the house. And for 6 months out of the year, she teaches authentic cooking classes where they make everything from scratch because they grow all their own food. They have their own cow. It's literally like out of something under the Tuscan sun. And then for the next 6 months of the year, she just travels. She spends, a lot of the money that she makes from these cooking classes, goes and does cooking classes in different countries. And she just lives a life that is very, very few people I would say this about. A life that is truly Instagram worthy. Like the places she goes are, you're just like, dang. Remember all those times I said I wanted to travel and I
and
wanted to
never
do all
did.
these things and never did? And you see someone actually doing it, but like really doing it, you're just like, dang.
Dang.
Dang. Just gotta hit you in the gut. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's so spent time with them. Went hunting a couple times. I love hunting. I don't love killing deer. It doesn't make me feel good, but the meat is I use all the meat. I use the whole deer. And did not kill any deer this time. The deer were safe. I did see one deer. The one that we wanted was an axis buck, and we saw a big axis buck, and it was walking, and it had a wife and a child.
Mm.
And I wasn't the one with the gun that day. My stepfather Eddie was, and it was his turn to take a shot. My turn was the previous day, and I was just like, dang. I kind of hope we don't get this one. I'm gonna scar this child for life, or we're gonna scar this
A
child
real
for life.
life like
It,
Bambi instance or something.
but it literally was just the father, a baby deer, and an axis doe, and they're definitely a family, all moving together. And the baby deer, if that buck would have stood still, the baby deer would have looked back and just been like, "Why is Dad sleeping?"
Yeah.
And Dad would have been dead.
Yeah.
So I'm, I'm happy he's gonna grow up with a father, or at least maybe
And
someone else
there you go.
got him. But
Hey,
that was my Christmas, and we actually this is the last thing. One thing really fun. Well, I'm not good at buying Christmas
no, you're
gifts.
done. You're done. You're done. My
Dang it.
turn.
All right,
Just
this is
kidding.
over.
Just kidding.
No, but I'm not good at buying Christmas gifts. And I have 4 siblings and 5 step siblings. Me and my family generally just don't get a bunch for each other. But this year, we drove into San Antonio and went to this super cool place called the Pearl. And we played a little game where it was like kind of like a reverse Elephant's Christmas or White Elephant, whatever you call it. And we all had 1 hour. We got some brunch, had some drinks, all had 1 hour to go shop. We had to draw names out of a hat and go shop for something. The limit was $100, and I got my little sister and I got her a really good gift. Okay, I'm done.
What'd you get her?
Oh, stop it. I'll
Put
keep
you on the
going.
spot.
I got my little sister or for her summer job, she's a bartender at a country club in Comfort, and
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Giving away too much information, big dog.
she's
Kidding.
not a bartender, and there's no country clubs in Comfort, but she does work somewhere where she works behind a bar.
She works
So
somewhere.
she goes to college somewhere, and anyways,
She does stuff.
she does stuff. Not giving away any more information, but um, so I got her a little bartending book for whenever she gets a place after she gets done with her master's, and a little thing of green matcha tea, which I just guessed that she loved because she's a typical white girl, and She did
Nice.
love it.
Nice.
And then my little sister loves playing family games. Like that's like it's like weird how much she loves it. Like it's annoying because it's like every single time we're together, it's like let's play a game. Let's play a game. It's like
And I know you love that.
I don't. I'm not a family game person, but I will play like whenever it comes down to, making my little
As
sister
long as
happy.
there's a drink involved.
That is so true. There has to be a drink involved.
Yep.
But I got her this little card game that's like a conversation starter that you can like keep on a coffee table or something like that. So kind of like Words with what's the game? Not Words with Friends.
Oh,
Same
not
thing as Apples to Apples.
yeah.
But just kind of like a fun conversation starter that she can
Did
play
you
when she's
still
with her
steal
friends.
a few of those cards to help you in your conversation life, or
I took pictures of all of them, then repackaged the box, and then I've
nice?
been memorizing them for the past 3 days. I've tried 17 of them so far, and I got kicked out of restaurants.
Man,
So I'm going to continue trying. No one's going to stop me. But,
perseverance, like it.
all right, physically, passing the ball back to you. Tell me about your Christmas.
Caught it. Um, it was good. It was quiet. My sister, brother-in-law,
All right,
and
that was really
nephew.
cool. Anyways, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Speaking of that, did you see the aliens? Just
No.
kidding. Just kidding.
Oh, man.
Got him.
Don't do that.
Yeah. We would have talked about that before. I wouldn't have saved it for this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely would have sent that article.
Yeah.
But go on.
But yeah, no, part of the family was out of town. My sister, her husband, my brother-in-law, and then my nephew visited his folks out of state. So Christmas Day itself, hung out with my folks, chilled, had some mimosas, some coffee, hot tubbed, chilled in the hot tub. Really low key day. Then we did our Christmas celebration the next day when they got back. So that was good. Pretty stoked about one of the gifts I got. It is a tripod for long range shooting. So I am super stoked to go see how that works out.
Now you
I
just
better
need a
hit the
gun.
I better hit the bullseye like every single time, or else it's the tripod's fault for making me miss.
Just return it and be like, this is crap.
This isn't working.
This is a horrible tripod. It doesn't even,
Yes.
I don't know what's wrong with it, but you figure it out. It's not my
Yep.
product.
Tell me how it's broken because it's not working for me. But yeah, other than that, shot some guns. Pretty much just hung out. Super low
Yeah.
key Christmas.
Dude, you want to know something crazy?
I do.
So there's all these videos on YouTube. And I'm glad you had a great Christmas.
There's videos on YouTube.
No, that's actually a different website. But no,
My gosh.
there's all these shorts on YouTube and Instagram and anywhere that you can watch like reels or shorts of footage from the Ukrainian war. And man, I saw one of the craziest things I have ever seen before. It was two snipers side by side, and they're like it's first them like laying down, and then like they're all gillied up, like it's like straight out of Call of Duty, and it's this desolate field, and they've got thermal scopes, and they take the shot at the same time, and there's two, you can see the bodies, like the heat of the bodies, or they're just, you could see people. It's like they're just, obviously lit up in the way that you would see a scope, to see through a thermal scope. And it literally, I had to watch the video like 4 or 5 times to remind myself that this is what you have to do to hit someone from this far away. But from the top of the screen, you see two bullets fall. It looks like they're going straight down, and they just smack the people. Because to shoot
Wow.
that far, you have to shoot it in an arc,
Yeah.
and it has
How
to
far
come
away
down.
was it? Because
I know
that
it
had to have
was,
been really far.
but I mean, you also have to understand that when you shoot, if you shoot a gun on a parallel line to the earth,
Oh
if I
yeah.
drop a bullet at the same time, that not I know you understand this, but if I drop a bullet at the same time, that both of those bullets are going to hit the ground at the exact same time. So when you shoot long distances, you have to, no matter what, you can't just shoot level, you have to shoot up. And it's just we don't get how much that bullet goes up and comes down, but it showed it on this cameraman, and it literally looked like two artillery shells dropping on them. Are you trying to look it up?
Dang. No, I was typing something else in, but I'm tracking.
Yeah. So it was just watching sniper bullets come down from the top of the air, knowing that's a long range shot, and that's just how that stuff works. It was just, and one of the dudes was you could tell he was immediately expired, and the other one got hit like in the shoulder or something like that, and just like immediately just like jumped up, like rolled to the side, and just like rolled into his bunker, and it's just, man, it's
Yeah.
crazy to have a front seat to the horrors of war.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And it's just crazy to think like this is the first war. I mean, I guess Iraq, Afghanistan, we had it more so, but not as readily accessible as this one. But we're able to see live time videos. If people just, we're in battle, I'm going to start recording and then post it on social media. Like, that is such a crazy concept to remotely think about. Like, people, besides being in the heat of battle, being like, I'm just going to record this clip real quick and then throw it up on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. And you're just like, dude, you're legit fighting for your life right now. To
It
me,
almost seems like something you shouldn't be able to see.
yeah, it's like the dichotomy is so surreal. Like, this isn't just some made up video. This is legit happening.
This is, yeah, it's weird to like see how humanizing or humanized it can become, to where you see this something that's supposed to be so horrible, and then you see a person smiling right after that, and you're just
Dude.
like I saw these guys escaping from Russian soldiers, and they were like literally being shot at as they were running. Jumped in this truck that was picking one of them up. They like pulled out and just like booking it down the road. At any point could have easily been hit by an RPG or whatever, you know, anti-vehicle measure that they wanted to take. You just never know what the enemy has. And they're just all in the car laughing and just being like, best job in the world, best job in the world. And they're
Yeah.
it's obviously Ukrainian. I couldn't understand it, but it was being translated. Uh, so it's it's just you just it's one of those things where you're like, I didn't expect that, but then again, I did not know what to expect.
Yeah. Yeah. That is that's really wild. It's like it's I don't want to say like humanizing. It's like desensitizing people to what violence is.
Or like extreme violence.
Extreme violence. And people, in the past could have argued, like, oh, video games, Call of Duty, it's desensitizing our kids. Like, yes, to an extent. I mean, don't let your 8-year-old maybe play Call of Duty. But at the same time, it's like we've got people posting casual videos of being in war and shooting people and all that stuff. And it's just
Yeah.
like, I mean,
I've heard people talk about the fact that everywhere on the internet, you don't have to search too far. There's the real videos of like very, very violent stuff, like
yeah,
just people getting shot point blank. Like, I don't want to see any of that, but it's just like a car crash. It's like one of those things that when it's in front of your eyes, it's just near impossible to look away.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think I've seen anything crazy. I mean, I've
I
seen
mean,
some. Actually, I don't know, man. I just the other day, and this was on YouTube. I saw a video where, and this was on a dude's channel who he's a U.S. military veteran, and he reviews footage of the war and just talks about it, talks about strategies and different things. You've probably seen him before, but he's like, I mean, there's an IED on the side of the road. It's about this big, and it's just a little box that's sitting there. And it's a Russian guy, and he's the bomb guy, and he's taking this out, and he's taking some C4 out because they're gonna detonate it to keep it from getting anyone else. And dude, in the nick of time, the cameraman just gets the feeling, oh, there's a bomb right there. I'm gonna back up. He backs up.
whoa.
He backs up, and on camera, the dude gets eviscerated. And it's like one of those things that it's so intense that you can't even see him die. It just that go
He
it
just
that
disappears.
yeah, it's literally like it just goes off and there's no person.
Golly, man. That is crazy. Well,
Yeah.
speaking of, I mean, just explosions, have you heard much about the Cybertruck that the dude detonated in front of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas?
No, I haven't.
Legit.
Gee,
So this was, I mean, within the last 24 hours.
what is the world
And
coming to, man?
it's, again, I don't want to go down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but like stuff evidently that this dude's family said isn't quite adding up with what played out. So, out of all the hotels you could have gone to in Vegas, you decide to go to a Trump hotel with a Cybertruck. Fun fact, that is Tesla. Fun fact, that is owned by Elon Musk, who just so happens to be on
On the
Trump's
Doge crew.
on the Doge crew. So to me, it's, no, I don't know. It's not a random chance per se that would happen. But his family evidently came out and said the Cybertruck blast suspect, he was a Green Beret who supported Trump. Why would he do that? Take a Cybertruck and go in front of Trump's hotel in Vegas to blow it up, all the while being a Trump supporter. But evidently, when they got to the body, they found that he had supposedly shot himself in the head. Then the car blew up. Events transpired. Either way, he had a gunshot wound to the head.
I mean, this is
But
the
he was.
same thing as that Vegas shooting where, bro,
Mm,
the Vegas shooting is
that was
one
a
of the
complete
most
stitch thing.
disproved things like on it's you don't even have to be a conspiracy theorist to like look
Not
into
at all.
that and go, okay, that not only wasn't one person,
Yep.
the what that dude would have had to do in terms of how many rounds were shot and how short he the time he would have had to do it in, how quickly he would have had to reload, how consistently he would have had to be shooting, how non-equal the fire pattern was to the gun that they said it was. It's just
Yep.
like, okay, we obviously see that it was not what you're saying it is, and it's just like, okay, well, we're just going to talk about something else and you'll forget.
Yeah. The dude shot like over 1,000 rounds or something like that.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, he was using this gun, and they're like, that gun, that's how much that he shot 1,000 rounds with that
Yeah.
in that short of time.
And I like how quick it disappeared.
Oh yeah. And the amount of 911 calls that came in from different places saying there were active shooters.
Yep. It's just, man,
It's like
I don't
that's
know.
what like going back to like our original conversation. That's what I'm saying. If that kind of stuff can happen and it just gets literally done, a crowd of people is shot over 1,000 rounds. Is shot at with over 1,000 rounds, killing multiple people. It happens in plain daylight. Multiple people completely report something different or report something completely different than what is told to us. And you would be surprised that they would take away the ability for someone to pull over. It's just like it just, and when you give up something like driving, it's like they're going to take every advantage they can. I don't even know who they are, but the they behind the
It's
scenes that do
them.
stuff like this,
Yep.
some pretty nasty people, it seems like.
The I would like to think that since 2016, when all of this collusion, Russia collusion that got thrown on Trump, the now fake confirmed fake dossier that was developed by the Clinton campaign to frame Trump for all this stuff, everything that's happened subsequently, going through COVID, people realizing everything over the last 8 or so years, I think a lot of people have woken up to the idea that, maybe everything isn't as it seems. And I would like to think that a lot of people are starting to think for themselves to realize that maybe I shouldn't trust, you know, what someone just tells me because people have their own agenda. And if someone wants to do something, they're going to do it probably, especially in positions of power. So I feel like all the events that we've experienced and seen and heard and gone through over the last 8 or so years, I'd like to think, and I think there is some truth to it, that a lot of people have woken up and have shifted mindsets from what they previously had before
Yeah, I mean,
to hopefully prevent future, I'm not saying nothing will happen in the future, but to hopefully stand up and have more of a say not necessarily more of a say, but just more of a backbone in saying like, nope, not going to happen this time. Because we have more freedoms than people believe. Because there's a lot of people that are just sheeple and believe what they're told and do what they're told. But ultimately, this is the United States of America. We have
USA,
freedom,
baby.
we have decision power, we have the ability to push back. And that's what a lot of people don't realize.
We do. Um, Unfortunately, I agree with you. I hope you're more right than you are wrong. But I feel in terms of people waking up, it's more of someone rolling in their sleep right now, like being like,
Which is better than what it was before.
what? You know, it's like I think something will, whether it's Project Blue Book or is that what it's called?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
holographic technology.
yeah.
Which for
Or
our audience, explain to them in case you guys don't know
and
what
this is
Project
this
Blue
is
Book.
this is far
No,
reaching, but
Project Blue Beam.
there's legitimate
Project Blue Beam.
Blue Beam, that's what it is. Blue
Yeah,
Book was just the
was
information retrieval. So
correct.
there's been proven to be two secret government programs. One of them called Project Blue Book that was started in, I believe, a time around the time of the Roswell crash, gathering information around incidents like this and categorizing them. And the other one is Project Blue Beam, which is, and this is, believe what you want, but there's government documents supporting this, you know, that have been it's a real project that has at least been talked about. I don't know how viable it is. I don't know how real it is, but the goal of the project would be to use holographic technology to trick the world into thinking that there's an alien invasion and then utilizing that to unite the world under a one world government, giving us a common enemy, but ultimate control over the economies of the world versus, our economies having to compete as individual ones. So, that's Project Bluebeam. And I was essentially saying, whether it's that or something else, our I think our you inch away at freedoms and then you do something massive to make people give up a lot of them at once. You know, just
COVID.
whatever. I mean, a big thing was 9/11, the Patriot Act, the ability to monitor our phones and have overreaching surveillance into everyone versus people of interest. That was
Did that
definitely
get
over.
shut down after a while,
No, it's
or is
still
that
active. I'm
still in
pretty sure.
place?
I'm pretty
Really?
sure it's still in place. Um, there's going to be a big event that happens that will make us give up a lot at once, and there's no going back from that. So unless we wake up before then and stop that from happening, you guys have this podcast to ride you to that end.
We are
And
the voice for truth.
we are the voice of truth in a world of lies. Thoughtify,
So
podcast about anything and everything.
the Patriot Act. Several key provisions of the USA Patriot Act have expired, but many
That's
of its
good.
effects and some of its provisions remain in place through subsequent legislation or other legal frameworks. And we're not saying like the entire government's bad by any means. Just like in everything, there's a few bad eggs that's sprinkled throughout every single facet of life. And it's up to you to sit there and use your brain and think for yourself, not what someone else tells you, but to just think for
Except for
yourself
us.
and
Believe what
vet.
we tell you.
Yeah, believe what we tell you because we're
We're right.
thoughtify. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, just vet. There's nothing wrong with questioning, with researching, with looking things up, with whatever it might be. Don't believe everything you're told
This is
at
a
face
call to
value.
arms.
Just because it's someone from a position of power says it doesn't give them any credibility. They can lie straight to your face just like a normal person can. Because guess what? At the end of the day, a person in a position of power is still just a person.
Yeah, and that's so many people think of the government as this like unified thing. All it is a bunch of people. It's
It's a
just a
body
bunch
of
of
people.
flawed people did that all have made mistakes and all have bad tendencies and all have, their flaws. And some of those people get farther in life with their flaws than they do with their strengths. So,
Yep.
when the government gets too big, that means there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of people to be bad because the greater you make the sample size, the greater you have the probability of something being bad in that sample size or going against what you want. Right now, our government is too big. We need to rise up, take over the Capitol,
Doge.
and have another January 6th. I'm
Yep.
kidding. We just
Not
probably got
doing it.
demonetized.
Yeah, probably. Not like we're making anything, but we just got flagged for sure.
We're just
Just
going.
kidding, Spotify. We're
We
not
were
encouraging
just
that.
joking, but we're definitely going to get your channel has been demonetized. Then we're going to be like, jokes on you.
We don't make money.
They're like, now you can't ever. We're
Here's
like,
our
"Hey, hold
lawsuit.
on. Yeah.
Here's our lawsuit. This is where we make it happen.
Anyways, have you seen anything weird about our name?
Exactly. And that's the beauty of it. That's where Elon and Vivek Ramaswamy are coming in and creating the Department of Governmental Efficiency, which
That's so
we,
funny that it just happens to be Doge.
what if it's part of a, if it's been part of a big plan this whole time and we're just playing into it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. That's a crazy thing. You could have some crazy stuff happen and I'd be like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's about
Seems
right.
about right.
Not surprised.
But that's the thing is like that's how you desensitize someone to things that are very big, and they're just like, oh, another crazy thing. Oh, what are you talking? Someone blew up a car in front of the Trump building, like they do in like James Bond movies.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay,
normal. Okay,
yeah.
that's just today's time.
Let's just what else? What else happened? Is that it? That was it?
Yeah, come on. But dude, that and then subsequent event, did you hear what happened in New Orleans yesterday morning?
Probably someone throwing up on or getting killed on Bourbon Street.
Legitimately, multiple people got killed. Someone drove a
Did I
vehicle
did I
into,
literally just call that?
you did.
Yeah.
Desensitization right there.
Well, I mean,
In
I
a
grew
way.
up in Louisiana.
But yeah, this dude literally drove into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street, killed multiple people, injured a ton. The guy was eventually killed by cops. I think they shot him. Although there's probably no other way to take a suspect down at that point than to shoot him. But evidently, the city of New Orleans decided to lower the hydraulic barriers that protect, I'm guessing, Bourbon Street. And instead, guess what? They decided to put orange traffic cones.
Are you serious? Someone was like,
Yes.
"The balloons are down, attack!"
And
Like, are
guess
you,
what? You want to know why?
that's
There
horrible.
was a
Like, not
massive group of people
why?
because the Sugar Bowl, Georgia and Notre Dame in the college football playoff were playing down in New Orleans yesterday. They had to postpone the game 24 hours. It got played today. It's supposed to be played yesterday, but that morning some dude drove his truck through a crowd of people on Bourbon Street because New Orleans was like, we're not going to use the hydraulic barriers that we spent money on to prevent stuff like this because orange cones will do the job.
Well, I just think it's like that's what you have to worry about is like you don't use the hydraulic barriers and someone's like, the guards are down, unify and attack. It's just like people
Yeah.
we need a mental health intervention in this dang country. Like, gosh dang.
Yes, we do.
Gosh dang. But whatever, man. Whatever, man.
It's just, I don't know, dude, just the incompetency. I mean, I obviously wasn't there for the decision as to why, but I'm just like, how is that even a choice in the first place? Like, keep them up, especially for a massive event. College football playoff games being played in New Orleans, and you're like, let's lower them.
It's it's eerily coincidental.
So here, I'm going to read this. According to multiple sources from both web results and posts, the hydraulic steel barriers in New Orleans, specifically those meant to prevent vehicle attacks on Bourbon Street, were not engaged on January 1st, 2025. Instead, temporary measures like flimsy orange cones, and it was used in quotes, or white gate barriers were reportedly in use due to the ongoing replacement of the old bollards. Just like that's convenient. You don't think a city would have prepped for that in the first place to make sure they're fully operational for a massive event like the college football playoff?
New Orleans, no. I do not put it past New Orleans to not do what they're supposed to do. That city is literally hanging by a thread. It's by the ocean. It's in a bowl. It's flooded multiple times. God has tried to eradicate that city from the earth, and they keep coming back. So
It's
Here we are.
either way. Yeah, they're saying some reports are saying, oh, they weren't working, or it's just But I'm just like, man,
It don't work. What's the
I'm just
problem?
so sick of whatever the excuse is. It's just like people in general, step up your game, man. Like to me, it doesn't seem like it'd be that complicated or that hard to make sure security measures are in place because supposedly in today's time it's pretty volatile with stuff going on. Let's not make sure our steel barriers are working.
Yeah, it's just
I feel like you and I could run for public office and literally get so much done because most of it seems to be general common sense.
I feel like that is the start of every politician in the world right there.
Pretty much. And then we get bought out.
I would sell out before I even got to office. I'd be like, $20, what do you need?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
It's
know
just
the police
crazy
chief.
though.
I've just met him, but I'll put in a good word for you.
Yeah, sure.
Don't arrest
It
this
is
guy. He's gonna traffic cocaine through the city.
dude, we joke about it, but I'd be so curious on how many different levels that actually happens. I know it happens on every single level, from local to state to federal. I mean,
It's just a matter of
it's crazy.
time and opportunity.
Yeah.
Wherever there's opportunity, it just takes enough time. If there's enough commingling that opportunity with people, and you will have the Moore's Law. I believe it's Moore's Law. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law. Dude, I'm not doing great tonight.
So that's why I'm here.
Tom Foolishness.
Tom Foolishness and
Moore's Law. What is
Tom-
Moore's Law?
Moore's Law is the technology. It gets twice
Yeah.
as good over half
Murphy's
the
Law
time.
is that anything
cheaper.
that can go wrong
Yeah.
will go wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not responsible for those statements. Those we're gonna edit those out.
I'm gonna keep them
I know.
because
I
we
know.
are fully transparent.
Not as
And-
people, you can see us, but
Yes.
in terms of our
Translucent.
in terms of what we say, we're as real as it gets.
We're realer than the realest. One more thing I want to say, just because it's kind of fairly recent, and we
Yeah.
talked about this the other day. Conor McGregor fighting Logan Paul. Can you believe that's actually happening?
Oh my gosh, man.
I
It's
need
just
more
like-
money.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then he says after that he's gonna return to the UFC, and I'm like, you're
Yeah,
not.
dude.
Nor do I want you to. Like, stop.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't even have any mysticism about you anymore. You're just a washed up, person that wants the attention so bad that you stick around as much as you can in it and just talk crap to other people just to stay somewhat relevant. So your name will come up in conversation, but you have no real dedication towards actually doing it anymore.
Yep.
You made your money. That's what you wanted. And now you're living the life of a lot of money. And hey, I can't say I wouldn't either, but I will call it how it is and say you are no longer a fighter, sir. You can fight probably better than most people in this world and beat me up 100%, but you are no longer a fighter.
Yep. Well, I mean, ever since I don't know.
He's an
I feel like,
entertainer now.
what do you think the last?
He's an influencer.
Well, what do you think like the last legitimate McGregor fight where he was still McGregor? Was that his last championship
Nate
bout?
Diaz.
Nate Diaz?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know he beat Jose Aldo.
That was when his career took off.
Yeah,
that was
that's,
when he-
that was his first belt.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Well, I mean, no. So Nate Diaz came before or after Khabib?
That would have been before.
Nate
Because
Diaz.
Khabib was one of his last like major
Okay,
major.
then it was
cover-out
it
fights.
was Khabib then, because Khabib was the
Yeah.
last fight that he really put everything into. But
And
those
Khabib
those
just
those
obliterated
freaking
him.
those freaking Islamic
Russian.
dudes, man, they're no joke.
It's pretty wild.
Well, they
Russian.
practice so much more and so much. They practice similar amounts of time, but they practice more days a week. So at the end of the day, when they have when you go to in the U.S., you usually practice 3 times a week for about 2 hours every time. There, they practice 2 hours every day, outside of I think one day.
Okay.
And a way a guy put it is like, when we get in the ring, I have thousands of more hours than you practicing this and getting roughed around. It's like, it's inevitable that I'm going to beat you,
Yeah. Man,
which is a scary thing to hear.
it's like those that one video of the little Russian kid or whatever, like literally punching a tree trunk. You
Yeah.
remember
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
that
I
video
remember
of
that
just
little
like
Russian
training
girl.
and the kid's like shin kicking a tree trunk and then sitting there punching barehanded? Just, if you want to be a fighter, especially over there, that's probably legitimately what they do.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably like a standard, like, hey, we got a couple trees outside. Go take one of
Yep.
those down. Then you can come in and put some gloves on.
Yep. And you're not taking an axe. You're using your
It's
hands.
it's like, so that's a 3 foot thick tree. It's like, yeah, whenever it comes down, you can come in
Been
the
there for
gym,
100 years.
right?
Pretty
My
wild.
son, my son died trying to get in this gym,
Yeah. Lost both uses of his hands.
right?
It's
Eventually
crazy.
lost his arms.
Yep. That's what convenience and comfortability will do in lavishness. United States, not saying all fighters are like that, but it just goes to show how
We'll show someone's true motivation.
correct
Yeah,
the distractions, the whatever might be in play. Like, I don't know, it's mentality too.
yeah. He
But
was about that life when he needed to be. Now he doesn't need to be. He's not about that life.
yep, pretty much. But hey,
But
he's
again,
fighting.
like I said, hey, can't say I wouldn't do the same thing. I don't know. I've never had that much money given to me. Never earned that much money. Um, but sad to see such a talent wasted.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I mean, we're all gonna watch it. We're all gonna
Oh,
watch the Logan
of
Paul
course.
fight.
And
Yeah,
that's it. It doesn't matter. We're still gonna watch it,
yeah.
even
I
though
mean,
we think it's stupid.
it's a spectacle, man. It's entertainment, and we want to be entertained. So just like
Gladiator. Are you not
Gladiator,
entertained?
and we would say yes, we are, but keep going. Stop talking to us. We're
Please,
here to.
sir,
We
can
paid
we
to be
have
here.
some more? I want to
Just
watch
some
more.
more, sir. But
Please.
I think it's probably about time to wrap this one up. And just like all of them, it was a really good one.
It
And
was.
we'd appreciate it if you'd reach out and say that as well. So,
We need your guys' words to make us feel confident.
and hey, if you want to sponsor us by giving us money and we can talk about your stuff on here,
Yes. It's a blatant way
then
to talk about it. Yeah. Give us money and we'll talk about whatever you want.
yeah. So, I mean, hey, we will change our political stances tomorrow if you give us money.
There you go.
I'm
But
kidding. We won't.
yeah, I mean, that is a decent little segue. If you guys know of anyone or legitimately have anything going on, and I mean, we don't have a massive reach, but we do have a reach, and it is definitely growing steadily. So if there's anything we can help you out with, definitely reach out to us. Our email
I don't know how much we
is,
can help. We'll talk about it on the podcast.
I mean, in any sort of way,
If you want
but
our advice, let's do
yes,
that. Let's do that. Hey,
want
if you
our
need
business
advice on
advice.
anything or you would like our opinions on something that's going on in your life, please comment
Yeah.
and let us know what it is, and we will break it down more than a mirror that has fallen on the ground.
And also, if you want to submit a more formal inquiry, you can reach us via email at thoughtifyae@gmail.com.
We made an email?
We have an email. We're official.
I'm going to go buy a new car. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I'm about to go buy a $20,000 Rolex.
Right, exactly. But
Put it on the credit card. I'm going to pay it off over the next 5 years.
But y'all have a great night. It was good being back, and we'll talk to you here soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll catch you on next week's episode.
See ya.
Happy New Year.